6H right here. Again, we've got millimeters over inches, or millimeters slash inches. I'm going to go ahead and just use the imperial again, the inches. Again, your choice, does not matter. They're both good. What I see here, I see somewhat of a rectangular shape. Now, it's trapezoidal for those of you who may not be familiar with a trapezoid. Trapezoid is, it's a four-sided polygon where two of the sides, opposite sides, are parallel to each other. The other two may be symmetrical, they may be parallel, they may be whatever, but in this case, it's I see a rectangular base here from center of circles, and or I see a smaller one here with the center of these top circles. If we bring them together, there's your trapezoid. Nonetheless, I'm basically going to start with that. Let's see, might actually go ahead and just stay with the rectangle just because that might be quicker and easier. So if I just start off rectangle, and I'll go the base of 6 comma the height here of 2.25. Okay, now instead of worrying about exactly how to make a trapezoid, now again, looking at the problem itself, they only give me a few dimensions. It does appear to be symmetrical. We are going to make the decision that it is. And you would be right doing so, or, well, I tell you what, let's double check something. One thing I do see is this circle up here. Now let me go ahead, since I'm going to be calling these circles, I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. And those circles, 4x diameter 0.75. I have one here, and I have one here. Then, well, since I'm starting off with a rectangle, theoretically I have these here. Now, this one up here on the top left, there is a dimension. Again, it always depends, not necessarily what it is or how you want to do it, but a lot of that is predicated on what information they give you. And one thing I know is true is this circle here is actually set in a ways of a distance 0.62. Now, just to show you the stretch command, I think I have once already, but to do it again, I'm going to go ahead and use the stretch command. I could have just clicked and moved it. I can use the move command, copy, whatever it may be. I could have actually drawn it over here. But in this case, I'll do S for stretch. Now it's asking for objects, and I'm going to window these objects. So again, get away, get out here. I'm above and to the right. It's obvious I'm far enough. Don't try to be right here at the top or right here on the right. Get up here. Now I'm going to encompass the circle. That way the circle wouldn't get stretched anyway. But I'm going to totally consume the circle, and I'm going to go below this line and to the left of this vertical line here. I'm done selecting the objects. Now it's asking where. This is where I'm going to stretch over for the base point over to the right a distance of 0.62. And there I have it. Now, the other thing is it gives me a distance from this circle to this circle in its other location. The question is it left over to be 0.62? Not so quick or as easily identified as far as the math here, but let's just do it this way. If I typed in 4.75, brought it down here, now I'm going to go ahead and stretch this one as well and move it over 0.62. Now, if this is truly perfectly symmetrical, this line will cross right through the center of this circle. And right there I can see that it does not. So this is not perfectly symmetrical. It's really close, and I'm not going to get into explaining this much or worrying about it. And I shouldn't erase that, but it has to do with some rounding going on and then being just real quick to around 0.62 as opposed to 0.625, 0.623, whatever it may be. So again, I'm not going to worry about it. Ultimately, this line here is that 4.75, the dimension they give us. So drawn straight down, this is where the center of this circle and this corner should be. So in that case, I'm going to stretch. Now this line, this vertical line, I am not consuming either of the endpoints. So after I select this, select base point and stretch, that line is not getting moved at all. I didn't consume the line. I didn't consume either of the endpoints. Now, I just clicked, it doesn't matter, because I didn't select my base point properly. If I select out here, I don't have anywhere to know. I don't know how far. So zoom in, and I'll select the endpoint here, which is also the center, and go to that intersection. And now this is exactly what they are showing in this diagram. Big difference is this doesn't exist. That is something that we see on our own. Helps us to identify where things are at. I'm going to leave it there for now. Just to show it differently, I'm going to go ahead and show it red, not because it's a center line, but I'm just going to show it red. Now, what else do I know is true? I know that there are arcs around each of these four. This other shape, somewhat filleted, with down here on the bottom being a little extra special, a little extra going on here. So in this case, I'm just going to again draw circles, like I've said that I always do. And in this case, radius 0.75. And I'll do it here also, Okay. And like a former or previous problem, I know that this line here at the top appears to be horizontal. And so I'll grab that quadrant to that quadrant. And down here, there is a line right here, which appears to be from this center point to this center point. Now, there's something going on here, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's one of the reasons I kept this. I'll just go ahead and trim. And stop it there, trim it there, trim it there. This I can then erase. And I'll change this back to by layer for color. What's going on here? Well, similar to the previous problem, we have a line, an inclined line, drawn as a tangency from here and to a tangency here. Same thing over here. Since this is not perfectly symmetrical, I cannot do a mirror. It will not be accurate there. So now I can trim, and selecting everything here, and there. Pretty much done, except I have some stuff going on in here, and there is a fillet. Now, let's see. This still shows it's a polyline. So fillet radius, my current radius is 0.8. I need to change that, 0.38. And I'm going to select here, and that is a no-go. Again, because it's a polyline, it doesn't like to do fillets. So I'll just explode, X, right-click. It is now a line. This is a line because I drew it as a line, but this up here is that other. Nope, that is a line also. I apologize, I forgot that I drew that as a line. So now fillet, it still has my 0.38 radius, and now I can click and right-click, click and click. Now I can go in and draw the center lines if I want. Again, later on you'll learn that you do need to do that because that is how we locate circular features. At this time, I think we're good to go.